Shalom. I want to give all the praise, all the glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also, I want to acknowledge all the Akim who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, in the spirit, I'm going to be in 1 Kings 10 and 1. It says, "And when the queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of Yahweh, she came to prove him with hard questions." So she's just like any other woman, intrigued by King Solomon because, he had it going on. He was the king of Israel. During the time of Solomon, we were the, what you would call the superpower on the planet Earth. We were in dominion. We were in rulership. So, she was intrigued by Solomon. She wanted to meet him, and he was famous, like it says here, throughout the ancient world, right? And throughout the heathen nations knew about Solomon, about King Solomon. Verse 2, "And she came to Jerusalem with a very great train, with camels that bear spices, and very much gold and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart," or her mind, right? Everything that she had on her mind, she wanted to let it off when she got to talking to King Solomon, because she had heard of his wisdom, right? King Solomon was, it was said that he was the wisest man to walk the earth. Let's skip that. Let me get that real quick. Let's go 1 Kings 4 and 29. It says at the top of your screen, and the Most High gave Solomon wisdom and his understanding, exceeding much, and largeness of heart, even as the sand that is on the seashore. And Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the east country and all the wisdom of Egypt. Right, because in those times, that would have been the competition. But Solomon exceeded all of the men of the east and all the men of Egypt. All right, so let's go back to 10. And also, there's another verse that proves his wisdom. Let me see. Yeah, Wisdom of Solomon. See, there's a book called Wisdom of Solomon. He has so much wisdom, man, King Solomon. And again, remember, that was Yahushai in the spirit, right? When he was reincarnated, regenerate, he came back as Yahushai. So it only makes sense that he would have the most wisdom of any man. So Wisdom of Solomon 7:17, it says, all right, so when you go into this chapter 7, it basically tells you about all his wisdom, but I'm going to start at 15. It said, "The Most High hath granted me to speak as I would, and to conceive as is meet for the things that are given me, because it is he that leadeth unto wisdom, and directeth the wise. For in his hand are both we and our words, all wisdom also and knowledge of workmanship. For he hath given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely, to know how the world was made and the operation of the elements." So he knew, he basically, I've said it in the past, King Solomon was literally a know-it-all, right? He knew everything. He knew the elements, the operation of the elements. He knew how the world was made. Verse 18, he knew the beginning, ending, and midst of the times, the alterations of the turning of the sun and the change of seasons. So he understood the astrology. He understood, the change of seasons. In verse 19, the circuits of years and the positions of stars, the natures of living creatures and the furies of wild beasts. He was like a science expert, man. He knew about creatures, beasts, the violence of winds. He knew about the weather and the reasonings of men. He knew philosophy, right? He knew the truth, the diversities of plants and the virtues of roots. So come on. Verse 21, and all such things as are either secret or manifest, them I know. And another reason, he's a prophet, because who does the Lord give his secrets to? He gives his secrets to his prophets. All right. So let me get that real quick. Amos 3:7. This proves that Solomon was a prophet, because it says, surely, Amos 3:7, surely Yahweh, the power, the Most High, will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. So his servants, the prophets, which Solomon was a prophet, he had all the secrets, all the knowledge. Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, did not hide nothing from him. All right. Verse 21, and all such things are either secret or manifested, them I know. Verse 22, for wisdom, which is the worker of all things, taught me, for in her is an understanding spirit holy, one only, manifold, subtle, lively, clear, undefiled, plain, not subject to hurt, loving the thing that is good, quick, which cannot be letted, ready to do good, kind to man, steadfast, sure, free from care, having all power, overseeing all things, and going through all understanding, pure and the most subtle spirits. All right. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. You see, he's going in on wisdom, man. King Solomon going in on wisdom. I mean, the point being, hey, nobody was more wise than the King Solomon. King Solomon, the Lord had given him understanding on literally everything, even the spirits, right? Even the people's spirits. He understood their spirits. He understood what they were thinking. He was like Yahushai, right? Remember Yahushai? He knew what people were thinking. The same thing with Solomon. And why? Because that's the same spirit. That's King Solomon came back as Yahushai. But that's a whole different lesson, right? So let's see, what else was I going to bring? Even his, even when he prayed for wisdom to rule over the Most High's people, even that prayer was wise, right? It was wise of him to, let's get it real quick. Let me see. Let's go to 1 Kings 3:1. Let me see if I can get to the point here. Let me see. All right, I'll get to the point. So this was his prayer, to Yahweh. I'll start at 7. 1 Kings 3:7. And now, O Yahweh, my power, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David my father. And I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in. He was so young, right? He didn't know how to go out or come in. And thy servant is in the midst of thy people, which thou hast chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered nor counted for multitude. Talking about the people, the Israelites. We're innumerable, according to the scriptures. We're a multitude. All right, so you can't believe the lies that Esau tells you that we're minorities. No, he's the minority. We outnumber the Edomites. We outnumber the heathen. All right. Verse 9. Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart, which heart means mind, right? Give him an understanding mind to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thy so great a people? And the speech pleased Yahweh that Solomon had asked this thing. And the Most High said unto him, because thou hast asked this thing, and hast not asked for thyself long life, neither hast asked riches for thyself, nor hast asked the life of thine enemies, but hast asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment. Behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and understanding heart, so that there was none like thee before thee, neither after thee shall any arise like unto thee. Right. Because nobody has wisdom before Solomon. No one has the level of wisdom before Solomon or after Solomon. All right. And you can't put Yahushua in that because that's the same spirit. That's the same soul. So you can't say, oh, well, King Solomon was more wise than Yahushua, or Yahushua was more wise than Solomon. So that shows you that that's Yahushua also. That's proof, because nobody had more wisdom than Yahushua. So that's proof that alone right there, that's why that Yahweh told Solomon that, because why? That's Yahushua. All right. See, and I'm not trying to make this a video about proving that Solomon is Yahushua in the reincarnation, or actually Yahushua was Solomon, but it's coming out that way because why? Everything is through the Spirit. When we do these lessons, we may start out at a chapter, but it's the Spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua that carries the lessons. All right. So let's go back to 1 Kings 10, and we're talking about the Queen of Sheba. Remember, I just read you the foundation, the information, the scriptures regarding King Solomon's wisdom. So this woman, the Queen of Sheba, she wanted to see what was up. She wanted to go and test Solomon's wisdom, right? She probably wanted to get with him. But our King Solomon, he had so many women, he didn't need the Queen of Sheba. All right. First Kings 10 and 4. And when the Queen of Sheba had seen all Solomon's wisdom, and the house that he had built, and the meat of his table, and the sitting of his servants, and the attendance of his ministers, and their apparel, and his cupbearers, and his ascent, by which he went up into the house of Yahweh, there was no more spirit in her. So she was overwhelmed with what she witnessed. She saw King Solomon, because remember, Queen of Sheba was a heathen woman, right? She's probably a Philistine, Canaanite, dark-skinned woman, so-called black woman, but, not of the tribes of Israel. But she literally, our King Solomon, just his greatness, his magnificentness, if that's a word, it was overwhelming to her. She was like, there was not even no more spirit in her. After she was like, oh shit, I've seen too much. Let's keep reading. And she said to the king, it was a true report that I heard in mine own land of thy acts and of thy wisdom. Like I said, now she's just giving him props, right? She's giving credit where credit's due. She's like, look, everything I heard about you, it's true, right? Verse 7, howbeit I believed not the words until I came, and mine eyes had seen it, and behold, the half was not told me. Thy wisdom and prosperity exceeded the fame which I heard. She said, man, you exceeded my expectations on his fame, on his wisdom, on his prosperity. She was so impressed by King Solomon. And you know how women are. I mean, just picture Queen of Sheba. If she, these women, they get around a man who's like King Solomon was, and these women get moist. You know what I'm saying? Queen of Sheba she wanted to. She would let King Solomon tap that. But again, King Solomon was the man. He had so many women. He didn't need that raggedy ass. You know what? All right. It's still early, so I'm not going to get too explicit. But anyway, he had plenty of women. He didn't need to deal with the Queen of Sheba. And remember, the Queen of Sheba, she wasn't an Israelite, so she the word queen, when you go into that word, it means whore. So you got to do your own research in the etymology of the word queen. So she was a queen, just like the queen bee. In nature, the queen bee, the queen bee can mate with all the other bees, the worker bees. She can mate whoever she chooses. That's how the Queen of Sheba was. She was probably a raggedy ass, giving it up, or, to whoever she felt she wanted to give it to. She was the Queen of Sheba, so she was basically a whore. I mean, it says in her name, Queen of Sheba. Look up that word queen. That's why, when we come in this truth, we don't call our daughters queens. We call them princesses. My daughters both know. I have two others in New Mexico, which, they didn't grow up in the truth at all. But the ones that grew up in the truth, they know not to be called queens. All right. Verse, let's see where I'm at. Verse 8. Happy are thy men, happy are these thy servants, which stand continually before thee, and that hear thy wisdom. Blessed be Yahweh thy power, which delighted in thee, to set thee on the throne of Israel, because Yahweh loved Israel forever, therefore made he thee king to do judgment and justice. See, now she's just blowing smoke, she's blowing, she's giving him all the credit right now. She's flattering him, right? And she gave the king 120 talents of gold. All right, let me look how much a talent weighs. Let's see. How much is a talent of gold? Let's see. So, okay, so that's...
The gold talent is reported as weighing roughly the same as a person, and so perhaps 50 kilograms. Some authorities say that the talent typically
okay, so Google says a talent raises roughly as the same as a person. So it says here, let me see, what did we just read? She gave the king 120 talents of gold. So just picture 120 people, then you turned them right into gold, solid gold. And that's how much gold she gave Solomon. All because of his wisdom. She was impressed. So, she was the queen of Sheba, so obviously she had it, she was wealthy, right? But she was not as wealthy as King Solomon. Again, King Solomon, he was, in his time, I mean, there was no king had riches like Solomon. Let me get that verse. Okay, it's the very first one. Oh, actually, it's in this same chapter I'm reading. So I'll keep reading this, and he was we'll get to it. All right, we'll get to it as I read. So she gave him 120 talents of gold. So a talent of gold is likened unto a person, the weight of a person, right? Average person, right? Maybe 100, whatever you consider an average person. But anyway, let me keep reading. And she gave him the king 120 talents of gold, and of spices very great store, and precious stones. There came up no more such abundance of spices as these which the queen of Sheba gave to the king Solomon. So she was like, she had the spices, So that's what she was. Those were her gifts to King Solomon. And the navy also of Hiram, that brought gold from Ophir, brought in from Ophir great plenty of almug trees and precious stones. And the king made of the almug trees pillars for the house of Yahweh, and for the king's house harps also and psalteries for singers. There came no such almug trees, nor were seen unto this day. Right? And I'm going to look up an almug tree. I mean, it don't really show. It shows just a bunch of different trees. So, but these trees were the shit, obviously, right? We're reading about it. King Solomon put those trees in the house of Yahweh, right, in the temple. Verse 3, and King Solomon gave unto the queen of Sheba all her desire, whatsoever she asked, beside that which Solomon gave her of his royal bounty. So she turned and went to her own country, she and her servants. Right. And again, don't get a triple X rated mind, because it says that he gave her all that the queen desired. she probably did want him to tap it, but King Solomon, like I say, he had 700 wives and 300 concubines. The Bible says he wasn't trying to deal with a dirty ass queen, right? So he was on another level, man. And this is, remember, just think about how what kind of level the men of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua are going to be, how we're going to be. We're going to have so many, women, so many riches. Let's see. Let's see if I can find this verse. Let's see. Let me grab this precept real quick. But we're going to be, the point I'm trying to make is the men who are blessed in the kingdom, the Lord's elect, and starting out with his prophets, we're going to be better off than even King Solomon was during his abundance, right? Luke 11:31. Let's see. 31. The queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with the men of this generation and condemn them, for she came from the utmost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon, and behold, greater than Solomon is here. All right, well, this is talking about Yahushai, which he was Solomon, but he's greater than Solomon. Yahushai is greater than Solomon, which we obviously know that. But I was just trying to prove the point that, the kingdom, the men in the kingdom, we're going to be better than, we're going to have more riches than King Solomon. And when he even talks about that about John, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Now let's get this, just so you get an idea how blessed we're going to be in the kingdom, man. This ain't talking about Solomon, but this is talking about John. Matthew 11:11. It says, this is Yahushua speaking, it says, Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there hath not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding, he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. Right? So, in the kingdom, the one who's the least in the kingdom of the Israelites is even going to be better, is even going to have a better spirit than John the Baptist. And we're going to have more riches than King Solomon. All right? So, that's why, we go through these sufferings, we go through this stuff here on this side. But our affliction for a short time, is not going to compare to the glory that we're about to come into. Right? 2 Corinthians 4:17, it says, the bottom of your screen, for our affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. Right? So everything we can see right now is just temporary. But the things we can't see, like we can't see the stuff we're coming into, the blessings we're coming into, the glory that we're coming into. We can't see that, but those things are going to be eternal. The things you can see right now with your face, with your eyes, those things are temporal. Like you see right now, you go outside to the grocery store, you'll see a woman giving her man hell, trying to rule over him. You ain't going to see that in the kingdom. Those things that you see, that's going to be temporary. These women are going to be in order. They're going to be underneath us. and that's the proper order. They're gonna have respect for you, you know. I'm gonna keep reading in Kings though. Let's just keep going a little further. Let's see. First Kings 10 and 14. It says, "Now the weight of gold that came to Solomon in 1 year was 666 talents of gold." 666 talents of gold. That's interesting, because that actually breaks down to 666 talents of gold, right? So that and just think about it, we read out what a talent is. That's the size of a person, right? The weight of a person. So I mean, 666 talents of gold that's a lot of gold. All right, verse 15. "Besides that he had of merchantmen, and of the traffic of the spice merchants, and of all the kings of Arabia, and of the governors of the country. And King Solomon made 200 targets of beaten gold. 600 shekels of gold went to one target. And he made 300 shields of beaten..." I'm sorry, did I just read that? Oh, wait. "And he made 300 shields of beaten gold. 3 pounds of gold went to one shield. And the king put them in the house of the forest of Lebanon." Oh, that's interesting, because I just read, I think it was Rehoboam, the king that succeeded Solomon. Or maybe it was Jeroboam. I always get those two mixed up. But what I read, and that's the spirit. I just read this the other day, but this is talking about the shields, right, for battle that King Solomon had. They were made of solid gold. Let's get it real quick. Yeah, because it shows you how. Yeah, here. That's beautiful. That's how the Spirit works, the Holy Spirit. 1 Kings 14 and 27. It says, "And King..." Remember, we just read. Okay, here it is. All right, this is Rehoboam. Rehoboam was the king of he was the king of Southern Kingdom. So he was the successor after King Solomon. But guess what? King Solomon had them gold shields. Rehoboam, when he went into captivity, let me see. Okay, yeah, when he went into captivity under the Egyptians. Wait, let me make sure I'm getting this right. I don't want to lead the flock astray. Let me just double check, because I don't want to say the wrong thing. All right, the Babylonians took the southern kingdom into captivity, right? So when the Babylonians took him into captivity, because remember, there was the split after King Solomon. You had northern and southern kingdom, and basically what I was reading here was Oh shit, I lost the spot. I lost the spot about the shields. I was talking about the shields. But the point is King Solomon had gold shields. And Rehoboam, he had shields of bronze. So he wasn't, that's just, even by King's shields, you can tell his greatness. King Solomon had those golden shields, and Rehoboam's shields were made of bronze, right? So let's get that real quick. It says, verse 20, 1 Kings 14 and 25. And it came to pass in the 5th year of King Rehoboam that Shishak, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem. Okay, it was Egypt. And he took away the treasures of the house of Yahweh and the treasures of the king's house. He even took away all, and he took away all the shields of gold which Solomon made. That's what we just read, right? And King Rehoboam made in their stead brazen shields and committed them unto the hands of the chief of the guard, which kept the door of the king's house. Let me see. Okay, here's a better account. Sorry. So like your 2 Chronicles 12 and 10. We'll start at 9. So Shishak, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem. So it was Egyptians that came up against Rehoboam, and took away the treasures of the house of Yahweh and the treasures of the king's house. So he took all. He carried also away the shields of gold which Solomon had made, instead of which King Rehoboam made shields of brass, and committed them to the hands of the chief of the guard that kept the entrance of the king's house. See that? So just by in the king's shields shows his how much greater of a king he was. He had shields of gold compared to the shields of brass that were made up by Rehoboam. So that was remember, that was the punishment that Yahweh gave to the Israelites. He split the kingdom, which you had northern and southern kingdom, and it was because of Solomon's wickedness, which he took on his foreign wives, and he was building altars to his foreign wives, to his heathen women. So Yahweh got pissed off, and he split the kingdom in half. Right, that's why you had northern and southern kingdom. All right, and but you see the greatness of King Solomon. So this is how Yahweh called us a degenerate plant, right? Let me get that real quick. So it started out with King Rehoboam and King Jeroboam, who was the king of the northern kingdom. He was an Ephraimite. You had Solomon's son Rehoboam was the king of southern kingdom Israel, and you had King Jeroboam, who was the king of northern kingdom Israel. And this is when the Israelites, our people, started becoming degenerates, because we weren't as great as David and Solomon. Our kingdom was split. Our kingdom had, we weren't as great. And it was all the doing of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And we've been degenerating ever since, until now that the tribes are waking up, and we're coming together. You got both northern and southern kingdom, and we're coming together in this wisdom. This truth is gathering. Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is gathering us through the Holy Spirit, through his Holy Spirit. Jeremiah 2 and 21, it says, Yet I had planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? And that word strange, it means Gentile. Gentile means stranger. So our people became Gentiles. Now, Kahala Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, the time is 11:44. So our people have become Gentiles and degenerates. All right? Gentiles and degenerates. And because they forsake Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, they forgot who they were. The kingdom got split. Our people became enemies. You had Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom with hostility toward each other. And you fast forward that to Babylon, America, where the Edomite, he knows how to keep us separate. He knows how to divide us. So he's always portrayed the blacks against the Hispanics, right? Even in his prison systems, he sets that up. But now through the truth, through the Holy Spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, he's gathering us, and now we're realizing we're all the same people. We're literally the same people, right? We're the Israelites, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And we're leaving off that degenerate plant. We're going back into that noble vine. All right? But if you ain't receiving this truth, if you're still stuck on stupid, if you're still stuck in modern Christianity, if you're still stuck in Catholicism, Jehovah's wickedness, all this bullshit, you're still that degenerate plant, man. You're a stranger to y'all. You're a Gentile. You remain in that Gentile state of mind. All right? So let me go back to... Let's go back to First Kings 10, and let's see, 18. It says, moreover, the king made a great throne of ivory and overlaid it with the best gold, and the throne had 6 steps. The top of the throne was round behind, and there were stays on either side of the place of the seat, and 2 lions stood beside the stays. The 12 lions stood there on the one side and on the other upon the 6 steps. And we're just going into the greatness of Solomon. He basically, when he built something, he didn't he didn't hold back. As you can see, his palaces, the temple. I mean, you had lots of gold, lots of precious wood from these precious trees that we read about. Our King Solomon, I mean, he was doing the most, you see. Verse 20, and 12 lions stood there on the one side, and on the other upon the 6 steps. There was not the like made in any kingdom. Right, our structures, our buildings, and nobody could touch us. Right, that's how it's going to be in the kingdom. Nobody's going to be able to build as with the likeness that the Israelites build with. And again, we're going to have the heathen building up our castles, building up our palaces, building up our temples. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to be just like King Solomon, but even greater than King Solomon in the kingdom. Verse 21, and all King Solomon's drinking vessels were of gold. So even had a cup. You want to drink a cup in King Solomon, guess what? It's going to be gold. You ain't going to have no plastic. King Solomon didn't deal with no plastic cups, no paper cups, Now his guests, guess what? If you're a guest at King Solomon's house, guess what? You're drinking out of a gold cup. Ain't no such thing as plastic Tupperware or plastic, not in the King Solomon's house. So just think about the kingdom. You think we're going to have plastic cups in the kingdom? You think we're going to have some paper plates in the kingdom? No, our plates are going to be solid gold, man. And all the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were of pure gold. None were of silver. Not even silver good enough. You see? You see what I'm saying? It was nothing accounted of in the days of Solomon. See? So King Solomon was so great, man. Silver wasn't even that. If you gave Solomon a silver cup, that would be an insult. All right? Solomon thought silver was nothing, accounted for as nothing. Why? Because the brother had so much gold. He's like, you give King Solomon some silverware, he's going to be like, man, get the hell out of here. Get out of my face with that stupid shit. He'll be eating from gold forks, gold spoons, right? So think about the kingdom, man. Verse 22, for the king had at sea a navy of Tarshish with the navy of Haram. Once in 3 years came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver, ivory, and apes and peacocks. So King Solomon exceeded all the kings of the earth for the riches and for wisdom. You see that? Nobody had riches like Solomon, nobody had wisdom like Solomon. All right. Let me see this real quick. Verse 24. And all the earth sought to Solomon to hear his wisdom, which the Most High had put in his heart. That says what it says. I don't even got to break that down. And verse 25. And they brought every man his present, vessels of silver, vessels of gold, and garments, and armor, and spices, horses, and mules, a rate year by year. And Solomon gathered together chariots and horsemen, and he had 1,400 chariots and 12,000 horsemen, whom he bestowed in the cities for chariots and with the king at Jerusalem. So he had Solomon had everything, man. He had a military, he had a mighty army, he had riches beyond every king of the earth. He had wisdom beyond every king of the earth. He had knowledge and understanding beyond every king of the earth. You see? Verse 20. Let me see, where am I? 27. And the king made silver to be in Jerusalem as stones, and cedars made to be as the sycamore trees that are in the vale for abundance. So silver was like a stone in the kingdom. You know how people build houses with stones. That's how King Solomon, he would have built, like, those would have been his lower level buildings that were built with silver. Because his precious vessels, he was using this precious gold. He was using the precious woods of the different elegant, rare trees. Nothing exceeded the architects and the structures of Israel. All right, and just think, every time I read this, just think how much greater it's going to be for us in the kingdom. Verse 28. And Solomon had horses brought out of Egypt and linen yarn, and king's merchants received the linen yarn at a price. And a chariot came up and went out of Egypt for 600 shekels of silver, and a horse for 150. And for all the kings of the Hittites and for the kings of Syria did they bring them out by their means. Right? Because these other heathen nations, they would bring us stuff too. They would bring King Solomon different valuables. And that's how it's going to be in the kingdom. Like, the heathen are going to be like in caravans, bringing us, gifts, bringing us gold, bringing us women, their daughters. Come on, man. This is the blessings that we're about to come into. King Solomon exceeded all the riches and the wisdom on this side, in the flesh. But just think about all the riches that we're going to have in the kingdom. All right? We can't even fathom or really begin to think about what we're coming in, the glory that we're coming into. All right? Our affliction is for, it's light and momentary. All right? It's a short time, our affliction, compared to the eternal glory that we're about to walk into. Right? So I'm going to go ahead and close out on that. I hope the lesson was edifying. I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also, when I acknowledge all the Akyam, who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom to the elect.